This is your First Alert Weather Breakdown, a deep dive into how weather works with meteorologist Evan Thomason.
Hey, good morning to you. First Alert Meteorologist Evan Thomason here in the not Weather Center. I keep saying that every single time, and yet this is we're at our podcast home, our podcast hub here at First Alert Weather Breakdown. It's time for the weather breakdown here today, and the main story is all about the temperatures. We have a rapid decline ongoing. Hasn't really happened yet. I mean, these are similar temperatures to what we had at this time yesterday. If you remember yesterday, we had temperatures very warm around here, lower 70s, in fact. Some of us reaching up to 75. 75 degrees was the high temperature in Shreveport yesterday, and we started off at this time with temperatures in the mid-60s, dropping into the mid-50s here for now in this morning. But here's the issue. I guess this isn't much of an issue. I'm personally looking forward to the cooler temperatures coming back, but boy, are we dropping our afternoon temperatures off an absolute cliff this afternoon. It is not going to feel at all the same this afternoon compared to what you felt outside yesterday around this time. So yeah, 75 again here yesterday. Today, 57 degrees right now in Shreveport. The projected high for today is around 58, 59 for Shreveport. Maybe barely toppling over 60 degrees. I will say the projected high originally, I think when I first walked in this morning, was around 57 degrees. I know it's 57 right now, but the reason for that was because we had a projected layer of cloud cover in place throughout the entirety of today, throughout the Arklatex. And we're already seeing sunshine this morning. So it's a little off our models here so far. And I think that sunshine has raised the temperature just a little bit here for the day today. But still, so much more cooler than yesterday overall. We're bringing in colder air in place, and that's not going to matter in the grand scheme of things here. Cloud cover, no cloud cover. It's cooling down here for the day today. That's what I'm overall trying to say. And I'm getting too much into the forecast. Let's get into the intro. Hi, I'm meteorologist Evan Thomason here for First Alert with a breakdown. I love this. Sorry. Just geeking out over my cool backdrop here that we have on First Alert with a breakdown. For those of you just joining us, we debuted this last Thursday, and it's still pretty cool. Not gonna lie, we're trying out new, cool, and creative things here at First Alert with a breakdown. And overall, we have some cool things on the way for our podcast hub in general. Just so you know, we got some cool gadgets we're still adding on to our new podcast space. This podcast space debuted it's been about a month now, I'd probably say, or being in this spot. But we're going to try out new things, hopefully here in the weather breakdown in the weeks ahead. This was one of the cool new tools that we added. So, not going to lie, it does feel amazing. Not only to have this setting, but to also be with the graphic. If you remember, we kind of had like a double box, so to speak, of where you would just see my surroundings in this box, so to speak, instead of having my background as the actual graphic. Now, the background is the graphic, and it's great. It's fantastic. You get the point. All right, coming on for today, we are talking about our local forecast. This is what we do on here on First Alert with a Breakdown. We do it more in depth. We go beyond what you might just see or hear in your typical weather forecast during any of our shows here on KSLA News 12. So we use this platform to go over the forecast more than just 2 or 3 minutes. We'll instead take maybe 5 to 6 minutes of your time going more thoroughly over some things that I honestly just don't have time to say in a typical weather forecast. Our exclusive content here for the day today is talking about national weather. We do have severe storms hitting the southeast. I want to try to do this also once per week, is talking about national weather anomalies, because we are all, obviously, one nation together, but a lot of the same systems that are affecting us are hitting other areas of the nation. For example, I'd love to see kind of maybe in future weeks systems that are hitting areas to our west before they come into the Arklatex over the next day or two. That's just an idea. of things that would be cool, one of the reasons why we look at things that happen in national weather. For this week, it's the opposite. This system came in to the Arklatex on Sunday to give us all that day's worth of rain here locally, and now it's affecting and hitting areas off to our south and east with severe storms here for the day today. So we'll go over that in just a little bit. But first, into our local forecast we go. Charge outside. Again, we did have some sunshine earlier, but now we have the clouds back again in throughout the Arklatex here for, honestly, a good portion of the day. We have our future track, which we'll get to in a little bit, showing us that we could have, again, more peaks of sunshine throughout the day today, but overall, it's mostly cloudy skies, and with the passage of that cold front that's mainly dry, but most of its power is going towards changing and cooling down the temperatures. So, weather headlines here for the day today. A much cooler day in store for your Tuesday overall around the Arklatex. So, yeah, be wary of that. Grab out the I know I was out the t-shirt and shorts yesterday, and I had the AC turned on in my truck yesterday afternoon. It's let's just say the AC is not going to be needed for a while again. Hopefully not until next year. I just want to stick back to consistency with these December temperatures being much cooler around here, okay? We have stray storm possible here for today, but overall, most of the cloud cover should not give us any rain at all in the slightest. And the big story beyond today, beyond Tuesday, is we do have rain eventually curving back into the forecast, and that looks to hit us on Saturday. There's going to be a little bit of an increase in cloud cover here by the end of the work week, eventually leading into that chance of rain here coming by the weekend. All right, here's the big picture of things. We're getting lots of severe weather off, again, to our south and east with the rain that hit us over the weekend. And we're going to go over into some of those storms affecting Alabama, also down in the southeast corner of Louisiana in the state here for this morning. That's our exclusive content here for today. But how that's affecting the Arklatex is we have a cold front actively pushing through the region. That's actually helping those storms to move out of the way so that they're not coming anywhere closer to the Arklatex. That's keeping us mostly dry in store for today. Not only mostly dry, but also colder. That's the big story for today. Much colder highs. Again, highs were in the low to mid-70s yesterday. Cooling down certainly a good bit. 58 for Texarkana, 58 for Stamps, 56 in Nashville and eastern Texas. Highs are in the upper 50s there. Again, as I mentioned, 75 was the high temperature yesterday in Shreveport, so we're cooling down our high temperatures by a solid 15 degrees at least, and then some maybe. Highs could reach maybe the lower 60s out towards Natchitoches, Coshada, and Bienville. As for the future track, so again, watch out for maybe the slightest chance of a rain shower here for this afternoon and evening. If it hits, light rain shower, brief, not expecting too much at all in terms of severe weather for you to worry about. But that's for the rain. If you notice the cloud cover throughout the day today, that's going to be a lot more vast until we get into tomorrow. Tomorrow, a lot better. Nothing but sunshine and blue skies, not a cloud in the sky to worry about. Then you get into Thursday, and that's when the cloud cover returns, and it's going to lead into the next chance of rain, which is most likely coming this weekend. 40% chance of rain. The reason we mentioned this weekend forecast kind of well in advance is to let you stay first alert and first aware of your weekend plans maybe being in jeopardy, kind of like what they were on Sunday. I don't have specifics about how long it's going to rain yet or how severe the system's going to be. All I know is we are expecting a good chance of rain here coming for this Saturday. It doesn't look too severe at this moment, which is good news. Kind of like what it was this past Sunday, just a good soaking, so to speak. Sunday, it looks like we'll dry out a lot more then. Highs, if you notice, those are going to be in the mid-60s. Again, highs today are in the upper 50s. Highs are in the mid-60s here for the weekend, and we actually have a little bit of a warming trend for the rest of this work week that we'll show you here in the 7-day forecast, where we kind of take baby steps into increasing the temperatures each and every day. 57 today, 58 Wednesday. Then highs are in the lower 60s for Thursday and Friday. Highs are up into the up mid 60s here for the weekend and for next Monday. And that's all because we're increasing the humidity, which is thus increasing the temperature around here, especially for those main systems coming in that are going to be bringing in some rain. We have scattered rain expected on Saturday and then a brief break on Sunday as of right now before more rain comes in on Monday. And even our 12-day forecast, day 8 to day 12, which includes most of next work week, that's pretty riddled with rain at this point, actually, as it looks like we're going to get consistent rounds of rain working in here and for the middle of next work week. I'm hoping that's before Christmas. Christmas is just outside of our 12-day forecast, just so you know. Our day 12 from now is December 21st. So we're starting to get to there. But as of right now, I'm hoping we get all the rain out of the way rain out of our system, so to speak, before Christmas. It's not going to be I don't think it's going to be a snowy Christmas. We'll see. Obviously, way too ways away to see what the heck happens there, but I don't know. As for the temperatures, again, we went over the highs. One last thing to go over is the lows. Be wary, especially of tomorrow morning's temperatures. Those are down into the 30s. Starting tomorrow morning, that carries also into your Thursday morning to lows in the low to mid 30s for both those morning before the lows start to really increase a lot more in for Friday morning into the weekend as well. So time to get out the heavy coat, especially for tomorrow morning. Be, again, first alert about it and first aware and weather aware about it as well. I mean, that's why you're on the podcast. That's why you're watching KSLA.com. Or on our YouTube live stream as well, wherever you're watching from. Thank you. That's all I have to say. All right. That's our local forecast here for today. Again, if you have any comments, questions, you want me to answer anything, I can do it. You can send us a comment on our YouTube page, KSLA News 12. We're on the live stream currently at this very moment. And guess what? You type in your comment, you type in your question, I answer it during the stream, and voila. That'll how it works. This can be a two-way conversation again. It can't just sometimes. It's a good way to be inclusive with you guys. It's a two-way conversation. It's not just me ranting. Yes, it's me ranting, but in a corner alone, nobody's here. But you get the point. When we come back, we're going to go over exclusive content. Remember that rain that was off to our south and east? We're going to go into that a lot more here and see what's to become of that here for the day-to-day, as there's a chance of even tornadoes in that area. Yeah. We'll get you the very latest, and we'll say first alert about those storms in Alabama and the southeast corner of Louisiana as well, coming up after this. Stick with us. Hello and welcome back to First Alert with a Breakdown. Again, I'm meteorologist Evan Thomason. Today's exclusive content for the weather breakdown, so to speak, is going over the storms that are just off to our south and east. Now, I mentioned one of the reasons we do this for going over national weather earlier was to see, kind of relate it to weather in the Arklatex. If something's coming into the Arklatex later this week, we take a look at it now. Or, in this case, something was in the Arklatex this past Sunday. Remember that whole soaker of a day that we had back on Sunday? Well, the rain is now elsewhere, and we'll see how other areas are faring. But I thought of another key reason for this is I realized, especially myself included, I mean, not all of our family is in the Arklatex. If you have any family members outside of the Arklatex, they need to stay weather aware when it comes to some certain scenarios as well, and sometimes, you want to know about that information, especially when we have some big national weather headlines happening. So that's why I'd like to make this kind of I wouldn't say a daily feature, but a weekly feature, to get the top weather stories nationally into our First Alert Weather Breakdown. Because, again, we expand on the weather all around here, including areas of the United States, here in the First Alert Weather Breakdown. We're your weather source here, as we say First Alert on KSLA News 12. All right, so let's get into what we're looking at exactly off to our south and east. So, again, Shreveport, locally, we have cloud cover, just not tall cloud cover that's giving us any bits of rain and any bits of moisture. Instead, all of that is tucked into the southeast corner of the United States. We even have a little bit of rain up into the northeast. That's why I want to include this camera look as well. But most of the severe storms are in front of the cold front, which you can see on some of those high cloud tops. In fact, I'm actually going to go over to them. Some of these high cloud tops here in Alabama, southern Mississippi, and even southeastern Louisiana. Some of maybe our family members as well on the other half of the state. There. So, let's get a look at the radar. This is what it looks like off to our south and east. And just so you know, these same areas were also getting rain yesterday. Our low pressure system was stalled out just off to our north with our cold front yesterday, just off to our west side. And what that did was it allowed the Arklatex to have a nice warm, sunny day yesterday. But the problem is all of that rain was stuck just off to our east yesterday, so that guess what? The rain is in the same place again here for today. Now, since the cold front has gone through the Arklatex here today, it's finally going to add some movement to this moisture. So the first bit of severe weather we actually have with the system is that most of the areas that you see with rain here today on this current radar picture got rain yesterday. They already got soaked yesterday throughout most of the day. So most of this rain, again, extended all the way up to Atlanta, northern Georgia, as far north as South Carolina as well, or I should say as far east as South Carolina, extending through most of Alabama, even corner around Pensacola in Florida, even southern Mississippi too, and especially around the southeast corner of Louisiana, including the metro area around New Orleans at this hour. Again, all this is away from the Arklatex, but let's go into some of these specific areas because I don't see any warnings for the moment. If you look all around at some of these storms, maybe around Montgomery, up into Birmingham as well, over towards Atlanta, northern Georgia. Taking a look at some of the storms there. Also heading down southward. I don't see any warnings here at this point. You can see maybe some of these cells, though, containing some heavy rainfall around this line. I will mention that as well. And we have a good cell. Looks like working along the North Shore. Also around Hammond at this hour, too. Just starting to move eastward with the line all the way extending onto the western edge of the metro of New Orleans, and that's slowly creeping into New Orleans, probably here for later on this afternoon. The reason I'm mentioning this, and the reason I was looking around for some of those watches and warnings, is we actually have had, I believe, 2 tornado warnings already this morning from this line, in from some areas around Alabama itself. So, last thing I want to go over with the system is how this plays out. In for the afternoon and evening, we get some daytime heating with this line, and becomes a lot more cohesive. And when you see that line a lot more cohesive, especially what it looks like on this future track here, on the eastern edge of New Orleans, southern Alabama, and throughout most of Georgia as well, That's when you can get some pockets of severe weather. When it acts as a cohesive line, it can gain its energy real quick along that line and use it to a real quick little punch into that system with those storms quickly rolling on through all areas around the south and east. Again, as I said, the cold front is actively moving now instead of being stalled out yesterday. So guess what? This time tomorrow, those same areas drying out, which will be nice finally to give those areas a nice break. But I actually do have a chance of severe weather elsewhere. Last thing I'll mention with this topic is we have a severe weather chance elsewhere up into the northeast corners. Most of this rain's going to get spiraled up actually a little bit northward and eastward. And we actually have a slight chance of severe weather pretty much right along the East Coast, extending all the way from New York City all the way down into the coastal Carolina areas, down by Charleston, Raleigh, and areas around Wilmington as well in North Carolina. Norfolk is included, D.C. I mean, you can see some of those heavy rain bands indicated by the shades of rain there that could have a severe weather impact to those areas on Wednesday. And then we're finally done with the system. Goodbye. It leaves the United States definitely by Thursday and Friday before we bring in more rounds of rain locally and back into the Arklatex here by this weekend on Saturday. All right, so that was a look at what's going on. Again, thankfully, there's no tornado warnings ongoing. Again, I did see that earlier today, 2 or 3 tornado warnings in Alabama, but things are looking better. Things are looking better. Hopefully they stay better, but we'll see. We'll keep you first alert, as always. All right, coming up, we'll recap this episode real quick, and we'll look forward to what's on the table for tomorrow's episode. Stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back. Hey, welcome back to the first Solar Weather Breakdown. I'm meteorologist Evan Thomason, back here in our podcast hub. More specifically, our virtual set, which I always think is cool and I always geek out about, I guess. Do I feel like I do this every single episode now? I don't know. Anyways, it's a cool backdrop. You get the point. Thank you for watching today's episode. Hopefully, if you have any family, friends, anywhere around Alabama and New Orleans, just tell them to look out a little bit here for the skies, at least here for today, before even those areas clear out their rain by tomorrow. And again, the East Coast will get that chance of severe weather heading into Wednesday. Meanwhile, here in the Arklatex, don't forget the heavy coat on the way out tomorrow. That's the big change in store for tomorrow. It's much cooler for this afternoon. Just need some sleeves on out the door. Oh, shoot. Let me not break the equipment. I was pointing at my sleeves. I realized every time I was pointing at my sleeves, you couldn't really tell from the camera angle. So Sorry, Mike. Anyways, yes, don't forget the heavy coat on the way out for the day tomorrow. But thankfully, rain is holding off until the weekend. But again, we have a rain-filled 12-day forecast, including the beginning of next week. So maybe count your blessings with this sunshine and overall with the dry weather with us for most of the rest of the work week. So yeah, you need to get anything outside done. The weekend's probably not the best time to do it, and next week is not a great time to do it either, it's looking like, as of right now. We'll keep you first alert regardless here. We have this weather podcast, guess what, every single day during the weekday, that is. We're off on the weekend. We're not here Saturday and Sunday, but we're here Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday at 10:30. So yeah, you can join us again here for the day tomorrow. And again at 10:30, where we have another lengthy discussion about our forecast. And I know for those of you looking forward to CJ here today and he wasn't here and you were like, oh, I got to skedaddle, CJ's not here. CJ is back tomorrow. CJ is back tomorrow. In fact, I literally texted him during this break as well. He will be officially back tomorrow. He has texted me and said, yes, Evan, I will be here on for Wednesday. So instead of being TikTok Tuesday where he goes over his latest TikTok with us, it'll be instead Wednesday, TikTok Wednesday here for the day tomorrow. Meteorologist CJ Cartledge will be on with us all podcast long here for the day tomorrow. So you can look forward to that. Cool friend. CJ, great dude. Can't say enough about him. Anyways, thanks for watching today. This coverage of First Alert with a Breakdown. Again, I'm meteorologist Evan Thompson. You have a great rest of your day. Don't forget the heavy coat tomorrow morning. I'll see you tomorrow at 10:30 for your Wednesday edition of First Alert with a Breakdown. You be there. Actually, before I skip to the end, I realized I wanted to share one more story here with you. Yesterday on a morning shows, I quoted myself saying it was quite misty out. Or not misty, but the words I used was very humid. And I was feeling those warmer temperatures yesterday that got into the 70s in December. My goodness. That was because of the immense amount of humidity still left in the Arclitex yesterday, on top of that as well. And when I was out taking a walk yesterday, I could literally see the mist. And I also had a quote yesterday, besides it being misty, I said we transported ourselves back into October with these temperatures. Well, I didn't realize the spooky mist would be included in some of those conditions. I didn't realize I was referring to that as well, but I miraculously was. Anyways, just as a cool thought. I might post that photo actually to my social media too, because I took a photo of it as well. Pretty cool. Anyways, yes, if you want to follow me for more content, meteorologist Evan Thompson. I have a Facebook page. I have an X page or a Twitter page. I don't know why I called it X first. It's always Twitter to me. Yeah, those are my two main platforms you can connect with me on if you want more weather information, if you want to ask more questions at all, anytime. I'll be there to answer. I'll be there to answer. Anyways, thank you very much for watching First Alert with a Breakdown. Again, I'm meteorologist Evan Thompson. Join us tomorrow at 10:30. CJ will be there, but you be there tomorrow, 10:30. Be there, be square, and most importantly, be weather aware. See you tomorrow. Have a good rest of your Tuesday. Peace out.